Good evening, everybody. I'm Dirk Stembridge. I live in Waikon Bay. I've lived in the Papamoa area 38 years. I'm a retired roading and traffic engineer, and so I thought this was a good way of using my skills for the benefit of the community. I started my first job working for a local authority because I saw that as a way of serving the community. I looked at the people who paid the rates as my employees, so everyone was unimportant. One of the things the other day, I was a man wearing a hat here. I was told off wearing a hat. I normally wear nice, colourful hats. I wore a colourful shirt today, so people can see me and come and talk to me, because I think that's important. Top priorities, I think, for here is keeping the regional council as we do. We look after the environment really well. I've dealt with them myself numerous times. I've in Katikati for 10 years, so I know that they come out and help you a lot. I'm a little bit disappointed in some of the other councils, I must admit, because I don't think the people treat that as a service to the community anymore. They treat it as jobs. I believe in good governance. I've been lucky enough to be on a lot of large projects. I've worked for jobs where we were in mines in Auckland, where I was working on the redevelopment of social housing in Auckland. That was one of the largest contracts in New Zealand. And so developing communities is a very important thing. Also think that from a background in roading, that a free-flowing road network is a transport system is really important. In Auckland, I worked in Auckland, I lived down here. The transport system doesn't work very well, and it's getting similar here. I think one of the functions of the regional council and the city council is the spatial planning, that we should be working towards people living and working in the same area, that we shouldn't be moving people for long distances. As I said, I'm a road engineer, and I do believe that we use transport the wrong way. Rail moves things much better than roads. Big trucks are just damaging our roads. We can't afford it. So if you want to keep your rates down, keep trucks away from you and use rail. One of the important things here in Papamoa, I think, I used to come over here as a young person, and the mount finished at Bay Park. I used to come to the motor racing there, and I came over a lot here surfing. So the beach and the mount here was really important. And at the moment, I think one of the biggest risks here has been mentioned, and Philippine knows about that, is tsunamis and weather events. It has been stated by scientists that you've got a 26% chance of having a tsunami here. Getting out of Papamoa with 38,000 people is not an easy thing to do, and you can't do it in the 60 minutes it takes to get a tsunami coming. So looking at a priority of how you get people out of the area is really important. I think it's critical as part of what regional council does. We do a lot of things in the transport areas, but I don't think we are doing that as well as we could do. And I said the buses have been said already that it's been a 9-year contract. That's made it really hard. The on-demand bus services have been working really well in Tauranga. Something similar to that working elsewhere is really good. I worked on busways in Auckland, which have got independent roads to get your buses in town. It's very efficient, so is the rail. So I tend to disagree here. I think passenger transport on rail is a good idea. As a kid, I travelled on trains, and that was all over. So I think that was a beneficial way of handling things. And most of my working career has been in service to others. For 50 years, I've actually worked for councils, contracted to councils, or what was the National Race Board, now NZTO. So I have a lot of background in practical things, problem solving. That's really one of my strong points. But I think it's really important that the people have a chance to speak to the people at the top. That they're not just there with the government's role, they're actually there to be representing people and other paying wages. I think that's a critical thing. Local government is looking at changes, and the government looks like it's forcing some of those changes with the changes in the RMA. just reading articles recently, I understand that if you shorten up some of these things, we're going to end up with more pollution coming into the stream, so it's going to make the regional council's job much harder. We've got to really look after what's around us, future for my children and my grandchildren. We have got a lot of things mentioned about cost of living and rate increases, and regional council's done very well at keeping that down. The city council hasn't quite kept into that area. It's unaffordable to keep on increasing rates. It should be able to hold the rates back. I don't believe selling the board shares is a good idea. That's producing very good revenue. It's going to be a big growth area in Tauranga, and so that's an area that we should be trying to support. Just get back to the questions that we had. The most important activities for the Regional Council in the next 5 to 10 years, dealing with the changes that the government's bringing forward, I think is one of the biggest things, the RMA changes and possible amalgamation. Amalgamation is a hard thing, it costs a lot of money, but it also, for the environment around us, it makes it really complicated. If you get rid of things like the Regional Council, you've got rivers that come from Taupo over here, and that's going to go through a lot of different councils. The Regional Council governs that whole area. If you take it away, you don't. So you've got to look at really what is going to be the structure you use. And it's going to be expensive to set up something similar